Hi, I'm Hazel. It is almost Saturday today, which makes it time to sit down and catch up with a brand new vlog, and this week had so much going on. Starting from yesterday, from last night specifically, they dropped a cinematic. I was not expecting that, and I was so not expecting that I thought it was Warbringer, even though it was clearly not Warbringer. It wasn't 2D, wasn't different characters, different people, didn't say Warbringer in the title. None of that clued me in. It was late and I was confused. So yeah, they dropped a new cinematic called Old Soldier at night, randomly. I did do a reaction video, so that's up, but man, that was a really well done and well-timed cinematic. A thought that I had, and that I later found out was shared by many people online, is that maybe they pushed it out early to kind of pour some water on the Teldrassil flames, metaphorically speaking, you know, all the people that were upset about the Sylvanas Warbringer, because this tied directly into that, and it kind of added another perspective from the Horde side, so we're not just like, you know. Now, I did read a Blizzard tweet last night that I can't find this morning, but I did read something saying that they debuted it at China Joy, which is why it came out at such an odd time. It's some kind of event in China, and that does make sense. China is a huge part of the WoW market. If you haven't seen the cinematic yet, you absolutely should go watch it. It was just such an odd, like, we have a BFA launch cinematic already, and then it's not an in-game cinematic. It's like another launch cinematic, but this one's really Horde focused. So my questions are, one, is there going to be an Alliance one? And no, that's my only question. Are they doing another one? Like, now that I've had it and it was so good, I want more. Like, I want like an Alliance focused one. And seeing as we have already seen a lot from Anduin and Sylvanas, in, you know, the launch cinematic and in the books and the stories and whatever, and we've gotten Jaina in a Warbringer, what's an Alliance like? Do you think they would do Gen? Do you think that we would get like a Gen Greymane cinematic? Who else would they do if they were going to do one? Nothing says that they have to. They've just had very symmetrical content releases with the Horde Alliance thing going on because of Battle for Azeroth. So I'm really curious, what do you guys think is going to happen? Like, do you guys think we're getting another one? Do you think it's going to be Gen? Do you think it's going to be somebody else? Do you think they're just going to do Anduin? Who else is there? Tyrande? I'm not feeling real good about her ever since she, like, took her boyfriend and peaced out and left the Horde to occupy her tree and, like, subjugate her people just because she wanted to leave. That's probably not exactly what happened, but that's how it felt like to me when I watched it, especially given what actually happened at the tree. Speaking of the burning in Teldrassil, it feels like it was ages ago, but that was actually this week on Tuesday. The second and final wing of questing for that storyline opened up on Tuesday. We got access to, like, 1 or 2 more world quests that are offering the exact same gear. But the story thing was cool. The cinematic, obviously, the Warbringer Sylvanas came out. I reacted to that one, too. I'm not mad about it. I was surprised because I thought they were going somewhere else that they did not go. But I think that they've done a really good job of setting an interesting stage for BFA to take place on, and also it's getting people talking, and that's really what you want when you're trying to promote a new game launch. About the Teldrassil thing though, obviously there is a mount. If you complete the second wing of quests, you will get a mount. If you get one of the mounts, like the Alliance one, it'll automatically credit you for the Horde one and vice versa. You won't see it on your account unless you log on to a Horde character. The entry is actually hidden. But if you earn one of them, you have both of them. But if you don't earn either of them, if you're not subbed, you're planning on coming back after BFA, then you will not be able to get them. Those are limited time only. As soon as the expansion comes out in 10 days, you will no longer be able to get those 2 mounts. You can catch up to it fairly quickly. You don't need any gear, you don't need any artifacts. All you need is a level 110 character, and even if you didn't play Legion, if you're planning on playing BFA anyways, your BFA pre-purchase will get you a boost. Speaking of the Darkshore World Quest gear, I'm hoping this isn't just me and this is happening for everybody. I have not seen a single cloak, trinket, ring, neck, none of it, nothing like that. And I'm assuming that they're just not available as quest rewards for that, and that's a little bit strange when they're offering everything else, and it kind of feels like a catch-up gear mechanism to just, like, omit a whole bunch of gear slots. It's annoying, but I feel like it's not that big of a deal because, you know, BFA is in 10 days, there's going to be plenty of new gear to get then. But it is weird that we can get all of these different slots of armor, but cloaks, no. Can't have that. Something else that happened this week, there was a weird quest bug that caused some players to, during a short period of time, lose their quest logs worth of quests when they change zones. Didn't affect everybody, definitely didn't affect me. The thing that was, like, newsworthy about this to me and that I thought was kind of interesting, I guess is the right word to say, is that originally when that happened, they put a blue post out being like, yep, there was this bug, we have fixed it now, you will no longer lose your quests, hooray, and if you lost any, you just go grab them back from the people that you got them from. People were not having that. Since that post, we've now had another post encouraging anybody with, like, multi-week quests that they've lost progress on to contact customer support so that they can help sort them out if it was really bad. But I thought that was really funny, just the way that they worded the post. Obviously, it's just PR, but it was very much like, so there was a bug, and we fixed it. So the important thing is that you're not losing quests anymore. That's what we really want to focus on right here. If you lost any, you know, you're good now. You can go get them. You won't lose them again. Just go pick them back up. This past week, we had the long-awaited update to Tradeskill Master. So TSM 4 officially launched on Saturday the 28th. And that was quite a ride. It had some launch bugs. And then it's just a really big redesign. They rewrote a lot of the code. It'll do largely the same things, but it does a lot of them through different interfaces, and it didn't help it that there were some pretty crippling launch bugs that I think have mostly been smoothed out now, but for the most part, it was a huge change, and with something like Tradeskill Master, where you get very used to it and you get very ingrained in your habits and your setup, to have it just completely overhauled like that was a little shocking for some people. So there was some feelings in the community about that. I think I have mostly actually adjusted. I'm not experiencing the mailing bug anymore. My mailing is now working correctly. The UI seems a little bit faster, and I'm kind of figuring out where all of the stuff that I used to do is. My plan for that was originally to just do a video covering the changes, but now having seen and worked with it a little bit, I may skip directly to just redoing the guides, because all of my old Tradeskill Master guides will not help you anymore. Not even a little bit. So I will be redoing the Tradeskill Master guides. I cannot say when, because I don't know when. It's going to be a bit of time, but that's kind of my plan for that. Raid testing this afternoon. I will be live streaming after that. As far as my end of expansion video plan, right now I'm finishing a couple of projects that I've already started, and then I'm going to be moving into dungeon guides, followed by pet battle guides, followed by raid guides roughly. Some of the dungeon guides and most likely most of the pet battle guides will end up happening after the expansion comes out, because it's happening in 10 days. I will do my very best to have the raid guides out before the raid opens, and it's going to be a couple of weeks of just a lot of guides and not a whole lot of videos that are not guides. So if you're here for the content that is not guide related, I encourage you to hang tight. We'll get the guides out and then be back to regularly scheduled lists and stuff. In my life this week, last weekend, and you might be able to see a little tiny blurry bit of them back in the corner over there, I got some new fish. I picked up 6 panda corridors. They are tiny. They are very cute. They're really snuffly. I've never had cories before, and I actually had never heard of them before I got into fish. They will eventually go into the 20-gallon long that I have in my living room and have lots of sand and plants and other fish going on. But for now, they're going to spend a couple of weeks in the quarantine tank. They've been doing really well. They're a little bit shy, but they're not shy in the hide way. They're shy in that if I move too much, they just play dead, which is terrifying. But then they start moving again after I've stopped moving for a long enough time. It's kind of like playing go-go stop with your fish. They're adorable, and I really hope that they continue to do well, because I am very attached. Questions from this week. Casey asks, can you do a setup tour? Would love to see your gaming setup. I will do an office tour. I will do it after I have done the other stuff that I'm planning on doing. It's one of those things that can kind of come out whenever. It's not really dependent on a specific point in WoW. So it's one of those videos that I have as a list of ideas of things to do when I've run out of other things to do. I'll walk you through what I use and how it's all set up soon. The Crack Fox TV asks, hey Hazel, are you going to be leveling in the fastest way in BFA like some people I know, or are you going to take your time? So this one's kind of funny because I'm currently working on a video kind of going over ways to make your leveling faster, leveling tips. But I don't know how many of them I'm going to be following, because I am very much, at least for my first leveling experience for an expansion, I'm kind of a stop and smell the flowers kind of person. I don't like rushing it the first time. On the 2nd through 11th times when I'm leveling on my alts, I will absolutely do everything I can to make it go as fast as possible, as long as I'm still having fun. But for the first time, both because it is the first time and I like to chill, and secondly because I am planning on, at least for some part of it, streaming on launch day. And you guys, if you've ever been to my streams, you know how useless I am while I'm streaming. I'm probably not going to be going all that fast, and that's okay. There's lots of time to get everything done, so I'm looking forward to, streaming and chatting with you guys and just playing through and exploring at whatever pace feels like it's fun to me. Mox asks, hey Hazel, what software are you running your mic through while you stream? So my mic feed goes directly into OBS, and then it comes directly out. If I found a way, if I found some software to run it through, and I figured out how to use it to make myself sound really good while I was streaming, I would probably do that, but that would add to the disappointment that people will experience when they one day meet me and realize, hey, she doesn't sound like that, and she's got weird posture, and she falls over sometimes. Typhoon asks, will you get a larger fish tank in the future once you have a more permanent residence? I started off with small 5-gallon tanks, now my largest is 80 gallons, and that still isn't big enough. Oh man, don't get me started. So, I would love to have a lot. and I will probably expand when I move into a house that I'm confident that I'm going to stay in for a while. But I have a tendency to get very into a thing for like between 6 months and 2 years, and then I will move on to another thing. I've done this in the past with getting very obsessed with tea. I've gotten very obsessed with plants. I had a phase where I was just obsessed with growing spicy chili peppers. And typically after the end of one of my obsession phases, I'll still be interested in the thing and I'll still maintain whatever I built up. Like, I still have like 25 succulent plants from when I was super into succulents, and I take care of them. But taking care of a succulent plant is not very hard, and there's a lot more that goes into taking care of fish. So I'm trying to limit the amount of fish that I get until I'm confident that this is a more long-term interest of mine. But it's hard to say. Like, I got really into tea, and then I moved on. I stopped buying tea every month, but I still drink like 3 or 4 different types of tea per day, and I replace things that I like when I run out of them, so I may well continue to be interested in it. So if I'm still into it by the time I get a house, I want to move what is currently like the 20-gallon community I'm building into like a 55, so that I can just beef up the numbers and then like add another school of something. Use the 20-gallon long to heavily plant and put like 5 dwarf puffers in it, and then get a 10-gallon tank that I can use to breed snails to feed to the dwarf puffers, as well as have just like a couple of pet snails that wonder where all their friends are going. Obviously keep the bedded tank, probably get 1 more, and then do 1 big aquarium with probably goldfish. Probably goldfish. I would love a huge goldfish aquarium, but we'll see. The Hazel House dream is going to take some time. Eric asks, do you think that Blizzard could do more to make WoW alt-friendly, and what would you suggest? So right now, I think that they've settled into a fairly decent rhythm of making WoW more alt-friendly as an expansion progresses. They start out being like somewhat alt-friendly, and I think they've definitely learned from Legion in the way that they're doing the Heart of Azeroth scaling this time. I feel like they've got a good cadence of making it feel satisfying and rewarding early on, and then kind of get easier for alts as the expansion progresses. Will say though, my #1 wishlist item for making the game more alt-friendly is I would love account-wide reputations. Even if you just have to make it like previous expansion and earlier reputations account-wide, if you don't want to make the current ones account-wide, fine. But if like legacy reps could be made account-wide, I would actually do reps again, because I would have a hope of doing the meta achievements, because I don't want to regrind reps that I have already done. That would make the game so much more alt-friendly for me, and main-friendly, and just like a nice, happy place to be. So that has been my week. We're going to do 1 more of these, and then it is going to be BFA time. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions that you would like answered on a vlog, please leave them as comments on the most recent vlog, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye!